Hello, I'm here again with my sixth video. I thought I would stand up for this one to show mutual respect, you know. The last one gave an outline of the difficulties for getting justice in the civil courts. Clearly, this is a mere fragment of the information experienced, but it gives you some idea of how your chances of getting success and indeed justice in those courts is nigh impossible if your opponents, which incidentally includes the entire breadth of the judicial system and untouchables, are arranged against you. They can easily manipulate whatever they want at any stage. It leads to clear injustice, failure, and usually terrible loss, damage, and so often the very breakup of families, health, and so on. In this video, I'm going to discuss one's chances of getting justice in the criminal courts. When I came to write this script for this video, I nearly laughed. And by God, these videos need a bit of levity. But unfortunately, it was a choice of either laughing or crying, because what I will tell you now is even worse than the last video. So let me now give you a review of the situation over jurisdictions within the courts, i.e. civil and criminal. 1. You cannot claim criminality in the civil courts, only financial claims. 2. You cannot claim financial recompense in the criminal courts. 3. You cannot have simultaneous actions in both courts. 4. You can almost only exclusively go to the criminal courts via the police and CPS. 5. You may go to the criminal courts for a private prosecution, but however, point A, the court will surely refuse it in secret and without reason. Point B, the CPS and Attorney General have the power, usually activated by the criminal or so-called public interest, read untouchables, to take over the prosecution and lose it in secret and unilaterally. Nearly always the deserved justice against criminals is blocked and can only be taken by nod nod, wink wink, in secret of course. But you will have noticed that everything moves out of your knowledge, let alone control, towards any chance for justice. Let us consider another tack. One normally goes to the police and lays evidence before them for their action. They are not obliged even to investigate, despite misguided publicity, let alone the appropriate action. If they don't like you, what you're trying to achieve, or they're trying to protect an untouchable or favoured party, they will say that they can find no evidence and will not take any action. Well, what about going to the CPS direct? They say that they cannot act because the latter are the ones to do the investigation and put forward the evidence. They will refuse your evidence, of course. Apply directly to the magistrates' courts or crown courts, then their answer is quite effective and straightforward. They refuse it, for it even to be considered. They throw it back at you and tell you to get lost. From all this, you may wonder how they can get away with it, and under what authority. The answer is simple. Because the vast majority of the population live in ignorance of something called the Memorandum of Understanding. This is an agreement between the legal profession and the police, whereby they discuss any proposition for investigation over criminal action between themselves, and decide in secret, of course, whether to pursue any particular course of action. I found this out, and on 2 occasions I was told to magnify this corruption, that anyway it would be a waste of public resources, because if the police and CPS did bring action into the court, then it was doomed to fail because the judiciary would manipulate the outcome for it to fail. What an indictment upon a civilized country. Yet just that is what they use as their authority. A high-level binding conspiracy to defraud all of us and ensure their self-protection and for chosen ones. By now, hopefully, you will have learned and outlined and some of the basics which ensure that your chances of justice through all available avenues are pretty well zero. All the time there are secret hearings, meetings, decisions and everyday injustice leading therefrom. It also means not least that high-profile offenders and criminals receive immunity and impunity. So many times we have heard the cry, "No one is above the law." Oh, you foolish and ignorant souls, say I. There is also a sinister rider to this situation. It means that they can take action against us, but not vice versa. One's opponents, one way or another, have got almost limitless funds against someone, particularly a litigant in person who has been cleaned out by crooks previously. If one makes a mistake, complains, or starts to expose this crooked situation alone, one gets the power of the legal profession upon one's shoulders. The opposite of our rights and right is their might. My next video reveals some of the consequences of this position so far. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon, or rather, hopefully, you will see me soon.